Good evening, and welcome back to the first episode of your one and surely not only podcast about nutrition. I'm your host, Felipe Cruz, and today we're going to talk about diet analysis. More specifically, talk about my diet through the course of 7 days. The first topic is about nutrient intake and how did I do compared to the RDA and the AI. I would say that I did pretty well in most, if not all, nutrients. And especially when it comes to vitamins and minerals, I think I'm consuming too much. When we check the fat-soluble vitamins that we analyze here, we can see vitamin A and vitamin E, and because fat-soluble vitamins are stored in our adipose tissue, I think I need to watch out for that, because most days I am consuming over 100% of the RDA, and in some cases even 2 or 3 times the RDA. And although it's rare to reach a point of vitamin intoxication, and I think if that was a concern right now, I would be showing some symptoms, but I still need to watch out for that. One good takeaway of this course definitely is the 5 criteria of a healthful diet, and after analyzing my diet for a week, I'm definitely lacking in balance, because when it comes to balance in a healthful diet, you want to consume the right amount, not too much, not too little, and I am definitely exaggerating in a few nutrients. Another aspect that I think is worth pointing out is my dietary fiber intake. It is also pretty high. In most days I am consuming about 120 grams of dietary fiber, which is not a big problem, especially if you're used to, but too much fiber can also cause some discomfort, if you know what I mean. Going from the micro to the macronutrients, I got surprised with myself because I'm right about the range of the recommendations. On average, my diet consists about 50% carbs, 15% protein, and 35% fats, which is right in the mid-range for most of the recommendations. I think my fat consumption is in the upper limit, which is 35%, but I tend to feel better on a diet higher in fats and lower in proteins, at least percentage-wise. And when it comes to fats, my fat consumption is pretty decent, especially when we split between saturated and mono and polysaturated fats. Every day the majority of my fats came from mono and polysaturated fats, which are the good fats. I'm not surprised about that because of the fat sources that I usually consume, which mainly consist of nuts, seeds, avocados, and olives. And when it comes to trans fats, I didn't consume any, which is a really good thing. My heart definitely appreciated. The 3 foods that I consume that are more caloric dense are definitely the nut butters and the nuts and seeds. So cashew butter, almond butter, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds. Those foods are very high in fat, so that's why they're very caloric dense. But those are not empty calories. They are not only calorie dense, they are also nutrient dense. They're packed with vitamins, minerals, and also good sources of fat. And that's why I include a lot of them on my diet. Also, they taste very good. Who doesn't like peanut butter? So I would say that it is a good thing that I consume those items. And my plan is to keep consuming them as long as they're working. In terms of my caloric intake, I think I maintain a decent range. My average caloric intake was about 4,700 calories, and on my highest day I consumed 5,000 calories, and on my lowest day I consumed about 4,200 calories. So I wouldn't say that in any particular day I consumed too much or too little compared to the other days. On the day that I consumed the least amount of calories was my rest day from the gym, so I definitely didn't feel that hungry. But I would say that my energy intake was pretty steady along the week. And since we're talking about energy, let's go to the topic of energy consumption and energy expenditure. Using the data on our textbook, I did the calculations and my BMR is about 2,300 calories per day. And because I consider myself a pretty active individual, I would say that my TDEE is about 4,300 calories to up to 5,000 calories. And going back to the charts, that fits perfectly on my average caloric intake for the week. In other words, I'm probably gonna maintain my weight if I sustain that lifestyle. The curious part about my lifestyle is when I compare this data with my Whoop data. The Whoop is the fitness tracker that I use to track my activity levels and my sleep. It tracks my heart rate and also the intensity level of the exercises that I perform on a day. But the curious part is on the calorie estimation of how many calories did I expend in certain days, because according to the Whoop data, I am burning way less calories than the numbers that I previously showed, the 4,300 to 5,000. My highest day on the Whoop was 4,500 calories and my lowest day was 1,500, which I wouldn't take as accurate. And doing this assignment, I can notice how accuracy could be questionable. I don't rely solely on the Whoop to see how much I need to eat. I go more by feeling and how I am performing on a daily basis. And in terms of accuracy, my food tracker that I use is called Chronometer, and I did notice some irregularities on the app, especially when it comes to the macronutrients and the translation to calories. I did spot some inaccuracies, and that can be for a multitude of factors. The label is not always right, and the food tracker can also be wrong, and that's why some of my numbers are a little bit off, which in terms of tracking what I'm eating is not not that big of a deal. So I think overall I'm doing well. I think I can always improve on my diet. I think my diet's pretty enjoyable and sustainable, and because of that I don't plan on changing much. But I do want to change two things. The first one is relax a little bit more about my fruits and vegetables. I do enjoy eating them, but my thought before this assignment was the more the better, when actually a balanced diet is the better. I'm not saying that I'm going to consume less fruits and vegetables, but maybe try to explore different options to vary the sources of nutrients that I'm putting on my diet and improve my numbers. The second thing is cutting out caffeine at least twice a week. I know my caffeine consumption is not that high, but I do consume caffeine every single day, and I know it can be beneficial to cut out on caffeine from time to time. So my goal is to do at first 1 day off of caffeine and then bump up to 2 and see how I feel. And to wrap it up, this podcast and also the course, I'm gonna leave it here, my top 10 list for this course with the things that I enjoyed the most over the semester. Thank you for sticking with me until now. A special shout out to Jacqueline. Thank you for all the amazing classes, and until next time.